Okay, guys, welcome to this week's Open Tabs conversation. Um, Thank you, Melissa and Megan, for joining. So as always, we're all busy gals. We'll just jump straight into it. Melissa, you're like fresh from Palm Springs at E-tail. How was that last week?
Oh, it was great. Palm Springs was also a balmy 92-degree desert heat. So it was so nice. It was like the weather was just amazing. But yeah, the experience was great. I'd never been to e-tail before. And for those that don't know, it's an e-commerce specific conference and it's huge. There's I think 3,000 attendees, like over 275 speakers. And so I was really honored to be invited and to do a fireside chat. And I think I mentioned it last week, but I got to sit down with Juliana Crozier from Thrive Market. And she sort of leads up all of their creator efforts. Also for in podcasts, like advertising as well. So it was such an interesting conversation. Like, again, from being a fan of Thrive Market for so many years too, it's like I I can't even envision. I don't think I would have ever heard about the brand without influencers. And so it was so fun to sort of hear about the evolution of how they've worked with creators or influencers. We talked about how we want to strike the word influencer and just focus on creator.
Mhm.
Um, and just how they manage like such a large roster of them, like several hundred at one time, and how they bring in like fresh creators and their whole process. So anyway, it was so exciting. She's a wonderful new contact of mine, and we're connecting next week to have her do a Q&A for Empty Deco. So I think we're going to get even more in depth about this.
Mhm.
I think she has a lot of information and thoughts and processes and tools that many companies would totally love, like, be able to, like, replicate as well. So, I'm excited to share more from it. But yeah, all in all, conferences are, like, one of those things that, um, it's, like, such an honor to be able to go, but it is just so tiring, like, it really is, and I still have a broken foot for those that don't know, and so it was just funny. It was, like, my boot was this, like, topic of conversation everywhere I went, so it was great, made a lot of great contacts, excited to work with Juliana, ongoing, but, happy to be home and recovering now.
Nice. Well, okay. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about and get your POV on, is the McDonald's CEO video. So, if you don't know, 3 weeks ago, McDonald's CEO posted a video to his Instagram doing a taste test of their like newest burger release. And listen, he's a CEO, he's not a creator. Um, and you can tell he is not comfortable on camera and he refers to the burger as product. Um, and he takes a very small bite. He seems like not interested at all in this burger. And so, anyway, 3 weeks ago, he posted it to his Instagram. In the past week, it started to like really go viral. And I mean, it has over 3 million views as of last night when I was prepping for this. Um, and I think his videos get like maybe tens of thousands of views typically, maybe in the six digits. So 3 million is big. And I feel like since then, it's kind of started this conversation in like is the role of like a CEO or, a C-suite executive in social media and like them feeling pressure to like be everywhere and be content creators. And I think this is like an example of how that can backfire. So I've done a lot of talking. I want to get like your POVs. Megan, I know you've seen the video.
I did see the video and I saw lots of videos making fun of the video and the whole discourse around it. Also, Burger King has entered the chat. I don't know if you saw this, but their
No.
CEO then was like, I don't know if this was in response to or if they've just amped it up since
Mhm.
opportunistically since this all has happened. But the Burger King CEO is running a campaign right now on TikTok where it's like, here's my phone number, call me and like give me advice. And then like he's like doing taste tests with their product. And the people in the comments are like, okay, that's a real bite. He doesn't seem to mind their product. Like, see how he seems like a normal human. So I think that was good on Burger King's part to like opportunistically jump on this. And I think that CEO is a good example of that is a CEO you do want to put in front of a camera who like gets it. Obviously, he's probably not in the weeds of like Gen Z TikTok drama or even fielding all of those like all of the feedback that they're getting. He's doing a good job of authentically playing the role of someone who's filling this space and like is actually good at like interacting with the product and with the employees. So it's hard. I think you're so right in saying that this is like CEOs do need to move to this space and like eventually. I don't know if that means you need to get your Gen X boomer CEOs up to date on the latest and greatest, but I think this is definitely a consideration going forward and thinking about the next leaders of like they are going to be expected to not just like behind the scenes manage things, but also to speak knowledgeably on behalf of the company. And so I think that's something that's going to be more of a consideration when companies are making hiring decisions and also retaining decisions of like, this is someone who is an excellent content creator. We need to pay them enough so that they don't give up their career to be a content creator because we would like them to be a content creator for us one day. So that's like, I think where I'm thinking about this more so. I know you guys are more in the weeds of like today's executives and what they need to do in this environment. So I'm curious, Melissa, what are your thoughts?
I know. I mean, I think that this is definitely, unfortunately for the McDonald's CEO, just sort of one of those examples now that we're going to point to.
Yeah.
I think this idea of executive social media is still new.
Mhm.
Um, and I actually think it's like there's a lot of activity around it. So I suspect that even in the next 6 months, it sort of lands on a rhythm, I think. To Megan's point, like I don't think every CEO is a content creator, but many could be. The skill set of being able to speak confidently in front of a camera and have media training is something that a lot of CEOs do. So, again, Emma, in our prep, you brought up how we've had clients who, like, we had one distinct client, I'm not going to call him out, but like, he was just so refreshing because he was like, I I really like X. I really like, writing copy. I like Reddit. I am not comfortable on video. And I do not want to really lean into Instagram. And it was just, I always sort of use him as an example, even with our other clients, where it's like, you don't have to be on every platform. You don't have to do everything. And like, you might be stronger at communicating in different mediums. And so I think that, like, when I see this situation, I'm like, okay, like, let's step back for a second. Let's also make sure that, like, one, is video the right way to do this? Does this make sense? Is this achieving like the business goals and or the brand goals or the cultural relevance goals that the company or like the digital strategist, hopefully, that they're working with has set? Um, or could it be done in a more efficient way through other mediums? And I was also, I mean, I think the other thing I would just say is that, oh, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I think that's where I sort of land on it. Like, I think again, it's an unfortunate example. This is fast moving, and like, oh, I was just gonna say, I think it's just really important to make sure you have the right team around you. So here's what I will say. Where I'm landing on it right now is that when it comes to executive social, I think it has to live in like comms or PR, and the comms and PR team, sort of an extension of like press releases and whatnot. That's sort of like how like again a certain level of executive is sort of positioned. So I would just say like making sure you're really working closely with that team, and then if you're going to like get creative and go outside the box, like to have the right partners to do that with, making sure you're reading the room, someone is checking the video, and like it's kind of discussing like how might this land, I think that that's really important. It's like reading the room as well.
Yeah. As you're saying this, it also makes me think that this might even be an indictment of a trends first strategy when it comes to social media. Because if you look at this from like a strategic perspective, this is like hitting all the key beats. It's like you've got an executive who's doing front facing video, talking to camera, doing a trend. Like when it comes to short form video and like taste tests, mukbangs, like this is the content that is performing really well. But the thing is, you take that and then you're like, okay, now we got to have, I don't know the CEO's name, so we're going to call him Ron. Like,
Chris.
Ron's now got to do this. What's his name?
Chris.
Chris. Now Chris has
Ron
to go
is
be a
Ron
mukbang.
because of Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I chose that. And it's like he's, like, sure, if executed flawlessly, this would work. But that's not the product in Ron/Chris that you have to work with. So to try to force a square peg into a round hole actually does the brand a huge disservice because it puts you in front of so many people because you are doing the trends and
Right.
they have a standard for what they're expecting and you're just not meeting it. So that's why I'm always like, I see this a lot where I'm watching a commercial and like the insights were there. I see what you were going for, but the execution of this just shows a fundamental misunderstanding of the audience that is actually doing you more harm than good, like being in this space. It's like that piece we wrote about where it's like, this is a party, and like Chris
Yeah.
was not invited to this party and he's bringing very weird vibes and it's odd.
You know what I was going to say, though? I don't know if you had this in the notes. I'm clearly not looking at them. But what I was going to say is to sort of balance out McDonald's, I actually feel like their more recent execution with like the McNuggets with caviar has actually kind of hit pretty well. I feel like I saw it going around social, and then Bethany Frankel, who I feel like for whatever reason has become like the ultimate food reviewer, she actually gave them a really high review for that. So I think that that's really interesting as well. Like to have like a company like this have sort of to be in sort of the cultural zeitgeist two times. At least I will say, like, kudos for trying McDonald's and putting yourself out there and experimenting and like seeing what's hitting. I think that that's also like they should be commended for that. And like there's still a win in this, but definite learnings as this executive social realm continues to evolve.
Yeah, I also Megan, I totally agree with your point about, like, mukbangs being, like, very conversational, very casual, like, it feels like you're just chit-chatting with a friend. I think that's why this hit, like, really off. It also feels like McDonald's to your like, Melissa, you were just saying with their, like, nuggets and caviar, they are very good on their brand accounts at, like, engaging with, like, trending memes and, like, cultural moments, so I think that also, like, is hitting hard. I'm also, like I have the video up in front of me. I mean, I can't believe, like, it's 3 weeks old, but, like, Mini Cooper just commented 7 hours ago, and I'm like, "Oh, no, our brand's gonna start, like, commenting on this poor
I
guy's
feel like it's
channel."
probably like people calling in favors of their friends, like, "Can you please say something nice? Like, we're drowning over here."
I mean, you know what though? I'm going to go also back to Megan's great article, and I think we should elevate it again in this
Mhm.
write up, Emma, but the legacy brand comeback. Like, what better way to be a legacy brand than to like participate in this? Even like, I don't know, it's interesting. Like, I feel like there's all different ways you could go in on it too. Like, you could mock it, you could like be in support of, you could create content inspired by, like I think that that's sort of an interesting consideration if you are another legacy brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they should, like, poke fun
Yeah.
at it and, like, get in on the joke. He's posted one video since about, like, how he uses AI. So, um, in his day-to-day, but I feel like it's like, "Listen, I tried something, it didn't work. Like, thanks for checking."
To your point about the
Like
brand social being so good, Emma, that's what I think, like, reading the tea leaves and between the lines of what happened here, it's like, they were like, "Okay, we gotta do executive social now." Brand social is really successful. Send us their playbook. And then they tried the brand social playbook with the executive social and it didn't work.
2 hours ago, they posted a meme of the burger he taste tested and said, "Take a bite of our new product." And the caption is,
I mean, that is so funny. Like,
and the caption is, "Can't believe this got approved."
Yeah. And I was
Like, that's
also
it.
thinking in terms of like what we want to applaud the McDonald's CEO for, I was thinking like his audience is not necessarily the public. It's
nope.
franchise owners, right? And who's to say that he wasn't building a great parasocial rapport with said franchise owners on his personals before this whole thing happened. So I think it's like just knowing again, maybe this wasn't the right execution, and I also think it was then picked up by the wrong sides of the internet. And that's like always like a danger and a risk of like, they take it out of context. So it's not that he should like hang up his hat altogether, but maybe re rethink the strategy to something that suits his strong points and doesn't open him up to his weak points that can then be exploited by the general public online because they're brutal.
I was just going to say, too, just to like plus one to that. And I almost feel like I'm actually now thinking about it for the exact strategy that I'm working on is that while we always recommend to like, again, have a really clear audience that you're speaking to. And oftentimes, like LinkedIn is B2B, right? Like
Mhm.
to Megan's point. So, like, the CEO's conversation is with or to franchise owners, or like potential sponsors. It's like, it's the people who are like, going to work with McDonald's in some way.
Who are going to talk about the product.
Right. Well, in those conversations, that's what a burger would be called. It is the product. And so I think it's also sort of an important and thoughtful thing that it's like if you are going to go out there, you also might want to be considerate of like the language that like how would that be interpreted by like the larger public, you know?
Yeah, and, like, knowing your audience on the different platforms. I do think, like, I'll I'll have to check, and when we post this conversation on Friday, I will let you guys know if, like, he posted it to his LinkedIn, and I'm sure the, like, reception was very different over there. But just, like, knowing the language of the platform that you're on and, like, you I mean, we always tell clients, like, you can't Hootsuite it and just repost the same thing everywhere. It just, like, doesn't
No.
connect
No, no, no.
anymore. Um, okay, next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. So in the past week, the New York Times, the Financial Times, the Morning Brew, and Axios have all released articles about how Gen Z is buying up old iPods from eBay. Um, and specifically like the iPod Classic and iPod Nano. And it seems to have started in January. So like this is a new development. Um, but I wanted to bring it up because Megan, obviously you're a resident Gen Z expert. But what I'm getting at this, I feel like it's tying back to previous conversations we've had about like friction maxing and like making our lives a little bit harder for like more connection, more human connection, and also like the like obsession with digital detox, especially in the new year. And Brick, that like device that's going viral on TikTok that like literally locks you out of your social media apps. So again, I've done a lot of talking. Megan, what do you think?
So I agree, and I want to discuss kind of like why this is happening, but I'm ready to declare that this is a fad, not a trend.
Mm,
I think that the spike in eBay downloads is interesting. Like, I think a spike in search is always interesting to indicate that like people are searching something, but it's such a volatile metric that I'm not comfortable being like a spike in search equals trend because it could just be like Addison Rae's headphones on video is really inspiring
totally.
2010 aughts nostalgia. So everyone searched it just to see how much are those going for? How much could I sell mine for? Like, I'm not ready to call this a full blown trend, but I do think it's a fad and a like a moment that's happening where the
Megan,
iPod is like got status. Yeah.
really quickly, how do you determine between a fad and like an actual legitimate trend?
Yeah. I think that it's so hard to tell, like in the moment when it's happening, it's so easy to tell in hindsight. So it's like so easy to look back and be like, this was a trend, this was a fad. What I would say for right now, like what the reasons I'm saying this is a fad, not a trend, is because it's based on one single data point. Everybody is talking about the spike in eBay searches. Like, sure, that's happening. But the behavioral reasoning is all ad hoc. Like, it's after people have done it. They don't have like the behavioral reasons that they're giving for why they're into this. It's just like, I don't know, maybe. And this happens a lot with consumers where it's like they're just doing something because they think it's cool. And then once
Yeah.
you force them to come up with reasons, they'll come up with good reasons, but those aren't the reasons why they're doing it. So after like ingesting these articles and like reading what the consumers are saying, I'm like, no, Addison Rae wrote a song that was headphones on. We romanticized the iPod era. People are like, oh, look at the fun colors. And it's like an aesthetic fad. I think it's still cool and interesting to write about, but I don't think that it's like as like behavioral as the people are making it seem. I think it's like I think the larger thing here is nostalgia for a time when like you owned your music and like it wasn't mitigated by algorithms and Spotify and like, Gen Z's general nostalgia. That's the trend here. Gen Z nostalgia for the 2010s. And this is just one fad in a larger trend, in my opinion. And if this continues, if next year we see this like eBay sees the same spike for 20, like I mean, if it's like hold steady, then I'll
Mhm.
start to be comfortable being like, okay, this is a trend. But I would guess that this year that will not be the case. And you're not going to go rich selling your old iPod. There's probably going to be a new product launched like Brick that does the
I
iPod.
was just gonna say, I mean,
That
like, if
makes
Apple isn't coming out with the new iPod
Well,
right
see, I
now.
think what they should do is like they should do something with it, but not a whole new product. I think they should like be like, we found inventory. Like if they
Yeah.
like
Uh,
we'll sell those, or like we're doing a limited edition collab with this artist who like was
yeah.
like Lady Gaga. I feel like is from the iPod era. If she did like an iPod,
You and I
and
are both born the same year.
but she's like such an so I think they can do something with it, even though it's like, but I don't want to call it a trend because it's just momentary. It's a flash in the
Yeah.
pan. It's not going to be here in like 6 months. I think the iPod will continue to like be relevant as a token of nostalgia, but I don't see Gen Z adopting this behavior en masse. It's just too inconvenient. And the point of friction maxing is to give your life more meaning and intention, not to just like go through steps just to go through steps, which this feels like just going through steps, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I think that, see, I was actually gonna say, I feel like there is a way to do a new release and like load up an iPod with music that would be different now than like the older version. Like, I mean, like, think about like how many different like chargers and like plugs and like things that have like changed since then. So like you're
Apple
gonna need
doesn't want to solve for any of these problems.
no,
Like
no, 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 no. Like they don't want to like no, I was just gonna say though, like I was just gonna to add to what you were saying, Megan, like I think that yes, it feels like it's like a fad, but I do think that there's like thematic clues, like multiple ones that all sort of like point to like, oh, like that makes sense. Like
yeah,
you touched on obviously the Gen Z love for nostalgia in general, whatever, like looking fondly back in the 2010s. So there's that. Currently though, there's also this like whole movement toward like hardwired headphones as well. Like I think I
Mhm.
actually again was listening to the Toast the other day and Claudia was talking about how she and Jackie are not into AirPods. And again, I mean, who doesn't love an AirPod like if you've used them? But one of the things that Claudia was saying, it wasn't necessarily just about like the radio waves or whatever it is like going through your head. So there's like the medical like consideration of it, but just this idea of like a whole nother device to have to like take care of and to charge, and that can like die of charge. Whereas if you just have like hardwired headphones, it's like a lot easier. Um, it honestly, hearing them talk about it, like, actually made me, like, nostalgic for regular headphones.
One pushback I have to that though is I think that is a example of a product failure. Like, and I think that this is something that is like, and like you're changing my mind on this to be like Apple used to be good and it's not anymore. And the fact that
Oh,
they keep going back to their previous iterations of products is just proof that like I
no, I
think like
don't know
Steve
what
Jobs
they're
was.
doing. Like, I'm gonna show you like, my phone case, you guys can't really
Yeah,
see it.
it's here, but that's the thing, planned obsolescence is their whole strategy, and what we're talking about is products that actually work and, like, fit into your lifestyle seamlessly. Because I loved my AirPods. I couldn't afford to keep myself in AirPods. I was losing them, they were breaking, I was washing
They
them,
are very
like,
expensive too. Like,
and
I
they're
feel like
too
the price for
expensive
them,
for
like,
how
went
easy they
up.
are to lose. There's too high maintenance of a
Mhm.
product, but it's not necessarily because it's, like, that's how it should be. It's Apple's failure to design a good product because I have 3 pairs of very expensive Bose headphones that I've had for years, and I'm fine with maintaining those, and I have to charge them and same things, I lose them, and then obviously, it's harder
Yeah.
to lose headphones than an AirPod, but still, I think Apple failed with the AirPod. I don't think that, like, wired headphones have any inherent value or are cool. I think it's just, like, living with these devices, it's easier and better to have wired headphones than it is to have AirPods. And so, like,
I mean, I agree.
I think something similar is happening with the music where it's like, this is just not good, but I don't think that iPods are easier and better than having your music on your iPhone. So that's why I think it's a fad. Does that make sense?
That
Yes.
makes sense. I also feel like I think it's that. I also think it's like I feel like I'm constantly getting like emails from Spotify about like them increasing their the monthly price.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. And if you
Their
don't
curation sucks now.
ads, I think it's people tired of that. I also feel like this is tied to like the rise of physical books that we've been talking about. And like even I hosted my book club on Sunday, and we discussed 2 books. One, I had bought the physical book, another I just downloaded onto my Kindle, and for some we always, like, take pictures of, like, all of our books out on the table, so, like, I had my the one real book I bought, I had my Kindle, and I was like, "Why did I not buy the physical copy of that second book?" And it was because I thought the cover was ugly, and I was like, "This isn't aesthetic. I don't wanna display it in my room." So, I like the aesthetic of this first book and, like, what it says about me when somebody walks into my room and, like, sees it on my shelf, but this one, like, I don't care about. And I don't like, I wouldn't, like, love what it would say about me if somebody saw it on my shelf. So it
Yeah.
can
Oh my god, isn't that so funny? Like, I don't like what it would say about me.
Yeah.
I also I'm gonna be thinking about this too in terms of, like, things being digital is obviously less expensive and there's less you can make things so streamlined, but then
Mhm.
you lose out on things like this where it's like what you're arguing for is like cover designers who are going to do a good job of like matching the contents of a book through its visual representation of a cover so that you are so proud of having consumed this book that you want it in your home. Like, like that is kind of important. Whereas, like in the Kindle world, it's just like the contents, and that's all that matters. The content's the algorithm, I guess.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say, the like, where is it? Like, what is happening? I mean, like, even and, like, what is the point? I feel like that's also so frustrating as a consumer now. It's like we're, like, being I don't know. It's like, how dumb are like, my kids the other day wanted to watch Zootopia 2,
Mhm.
and, of course, the trailer is, like, front and center on Disney Plus. And there was no way to rent it even. It was you had to buy it, and it was
That
super
feels
it's
so
like
exploitative.
I know, and it was, like, $28, and it was like,
No,
They're
that's more
literally
expensive than a
like,
movie
that's
ticket.
a hostage situation.
it
Literally,
was
like,
so
I can't imagine being a parent where it's like, "We want that," and it's like, because they can't understand, like, no, in order to give that to you, I'm getting ripped off by the mouse. They're like,
No, they
no,
cannot.
all you
I
have to
mean,
do is push 2 buttons and give that to us. Why aren't you doing it? Like,
no, 100%. And they've
I'm so mad at
watched
you.
this song also, like, is on it's like the latest Shakira song. It's
Yes,
called,
which
like,
is basically
Zoo.
Waka Waka.
I know it is Waka Waka. I was like, oh my god, that is so funny that you said that because I was like, this sounds just like I was like, "This time for Africa," and I'm like, "Come
No,
on,"
literally,
like,
it's the same
the same
song.
song.
It's the same
But
song.
anyway, it's just yeah, and so we, like, obviously had to talk them off the ledge. We were even, like it came up on in ski week too. It was, like, the same thing. We were with friends, and I was literally calculating, like, value per child that would watch. I was like, "Okay, there's gonna be, like, 6 kids watching. Is this worth $28?" But, like, there's just, like, something wrong. Like, even again, my Kindle, like, I have a Kindle. I've bought a ton of books. Where are they? Like, what is that? Like, what is the point? Like, I just even feel like, I don't know, maybe hopefully they're, like, somewhere in my Amazon account, but, like, do I own them? Like, do they
No,
just
you're
disappear? No,
licensing them.
but, like, that I mean, I kind of have given
Mhm.
up. I'd rather, like, honestly, I'm in a phase where I'm really, like, into the library.
Yeah.
To go back to, like, nostalgic times, like, I think that, like I mean, I love going to our public library. They, like, are so helpful, so excited, enthusiastic to help me find a book, get me on a wait list, let me order it from Amazon, and then they pay for it and take it on. So, I don't know, like, yeah, like, we long story short, like, we didn't end up paying for Zootopia 2, but yeah, like, there's something really weird about this, like, ownership of digital property. Where does
Mhm.
it go? How do you access it? And, like, I mean, I can't even fathom how many people are being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
That's so funny you mentioned that also about, like, Amazon, like, digital book ownership because, I've had my Amazon and, like, Kindle. I think I got my first Kindle when I was, like, 14, so that's,
Yeah.
like, 14 years of me downloading books from Amazon. There's this book, I could remember vividly reading it. I couldn't remember the title or the author at all. Apparently, there is an entire subreddit dedicated to, like, people losing books, like, they downloaded on Amazon and not being able to find them in their accounts anymore, and it's, like, "Name that book." Um, and I, like, put in what I could remember of the book. I, like, posted it out to Reddit. We still nobody knows what the name of this book is, and I'm like, I definitely I bought that book, I downloaded it, but my, like, Kindle search functions are so bad that, like, it's lost to me
It's
forever.
lost to time. You have to put that Reddit link into the readout for
I
this.
will. It's like
I love, like, a good, like, reliable I guess they haven't solved your issue, but, like, I love a good Reddit thread,
I
a
mean,
good
I feel like
angry
this,
Reddit.
like, whole conversation really is about, like, enshittification of, like, all the products we use, and I feel like time and time again, like, Reddit has been a solution to enshittification of, like, when a product fails, you go to Reddit. When you have an issue or, like, um, a glitch in a product, I always go to Reddit to see who else has it, and even, like, with quality of stuff, one of my favorite subreddits is Buy for Life, where, like, people recommend products that they've had for, like, 20 years.
Oh my god, I love that too.
I'll include it
That's a
in
good
the
one.
roundup for this.
I
It's
love that.
awesome. Okay, we have to hop. Client calls this afternoon, but thank you guys so much, for joining. This was a super fun conversation this week. And yeah, as always, we will be posting it to Substack on Friday so you guys can listen and watch at your leisure. And we'll have all the resources and stuff we talked about linked. Hey,
Thank you
bye.
guys. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.